Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the global South and Africa. Many of us have old ideas about these places, right? We usually only hear one side of the story. But today we're looking at the real facts. We are going to break those old stereotypes. We'll see a story of massive change and sharp contrast. Let's get right into it.
Here is our map for today's Explainer. 1. What is the South? 2. The real Africa. 3. Africa is growing fast. 4. Business and big risks. And 5. Life without money. Now you know exactly what to expect.
Section 1. What is the South? Words and meanings. We hear the word South a lot on the news, but words can mean very different things. Let's look at the difference between a map direction and a political idea.
South can just be a spot on a map. Take New Zealand, for example. It's way down in the south of the world. They even have a government agency called Great South. But New Zealand is a very rich, developed country. The global South is a totally different idea. It doesn't just mean the bottom half of the map, it actually means developing countries. We are talking about many countries in Africa, Asia, and South America. These places are growing super fast. They have very young populations. They are stepping up as new global powers. So these two meanings are completely different things.
Section 2. The real Africa. History and facts. Let's contrast that old image of Africa with its actual history.
People often ask, why are some parts of Africa poor? Well, the answers are hiding in history. First, the slave trade. This was terrible. It lasted over 500 years. It took millions of people away and really broke the trust between local communities. Second, foreign control. Outside countries came in and literally drew straight borders on a map. They forced totally different groups to live together. This caused a lot of long conflicts. Third, the resource curse. Africa has so much natural wealth. Think oil, diamonds, and gold. But easy money from those resources often stops other local businesses from growing. And finally, free foreign aid can actually hurt. Imagine a local farmer. He grows tomatoes to sell. Suddenly, a foreign country gives free tomatoes to his whole town. Now, the local farmer can't sell his own tomatoes. He loses his business, he becomes poor. These historical reasons really explain the hard situations we still see today.
Moving to Section 3. Africa is growing fast. A changing world. We know the hard history, but the story absolutely does not end there. Let's contrast those poor areas with some incredibly fast business growth. There is a massive change happening in the world economy right now. In the year 2020, the developed world held 60% of the global economy. The developing world held 40%. That is a huge shift. Just look back at 1990. The developing world only had 20% back then. Their share of the global economy literally doubled in just 30 years. These countries are building brand new cities. They are opening new factories. The world is changing, and it's changing fast. Sometimes, new technology just jumps right over the old systems. Think about a young person in a local African market. They want to buy some food. They don't have a bank account. They don't even carry paper cash. Instead, they just use a simple old mobile phone. They type in a few numbers, bam! They send money to the seller instantly. The seller gets a text message, and the money is totally safe. It's safer than carrying cash. It's faster than going to a bank. Millions of people are doing this every single day. It completely changes how daily business gets done.
New businesses are doing really well. In fact, today, 61.6% of Japanese businesses in Africa make a profit. That is a very high number. So why do they make so much money? Well, local demand is growing incredibly fast. People want more goods in their homes, they want better services, they're buying cars, clothes, and electronics. Africa is absolutely a place for very fast business growth today.
Section 4. Business and big risks. Challenges today. Now, we have to look at the whole picture here. New business also brings some very big challenges. Let's take a look at two countries and contrast their specific, real-world risks. In Sudan, the main risk right now is deep conflict and hunger. Two military groups are actively fighting for control of the country. This fighting makes doing business incredibly hard. The roads just aren't safe. Farms are being destroyed, and this causes a terrible food crisis. Now in Mali, the risk is completely different. There is a foreign military group there called the Russia-Africa Corps. They give military support to the government. This really changes the local politics. It creates a very complex environment. Foreign companies find it very difficult to operate safely there. They face high security risks every day. But we can't talk about conflict without talking about the people.
About 14 million people are displaced in Sudan right now. That word displaced means they had to leave their homes just to stay safe. They pack a small bag, they walk for days, they have nowhere to go. They end up sleeping outside or in very crowded camps. They desperately need food and water. This shows the truly sad human result of these conflicts. Real people suffer when politics and business fail.
Section 5. Life without money. The Hadza tribe. We just talked about global money and modern conflicts. Now let's contrast our modern system with a completely different way of living.
The Hadzabe tribe lives in Tanzania. They hunt wild animals for their food. They gather wild plants. But here is the amazing part. They use no money, and they do absolutely no saving. They don't use coins or paper cash, no banks, no mobile phones. They don't even save food for next year. They don't have refrigerators. If they don't catch an animal, they simply don't eat that day. Their life is very direct. It is all about today. It is never about tomorrow. So how do they survive without any money? They rely on incredible skills and deep teamwork. First, they look at the dirt for signs of animals. They literally read the ground like a book. They know exactly which animal passed by. Next, they move very quietly through the trees. They don't speak words. They use small clicking sounds and simple hand signals. They get really close to the animal. Finally, if one man catches an animal, he shares that meat with everyone in the camp. The whole tribe eats together. They survive by helping each other. They share everything they have, so no one is rich and no one is poor.
A Hadzabe man explained his way of life like this. He said, "Happiness is a peaceful life in nature." He doesn't want a big house. He doesn't want a fast car. He doesn't want a lot of money. He just wants peace. He wants to hunt and live with his family. So today, we learned about the Global South. We saw Africa's hard history and its fast business growth. We looked at some big risks, and finally we saw a tribe that lives happily without any money at all. So I want to leave you with this question. In our busy, modern world, what does true happiness really mean to you? Thank you so much for joining this explainer.